Hey guys, 6A1 Shadow. Welcome to our Boku no Hero Academia episode 33 review, and the episode is titled Listen Up, A Tale from the Past. And it's a very important episode, so if you haven't seen it, definitely go into the description down below and watch the episode. And so before I start the review here, I just want to quickly address the elephant in the room. Yes, last night, from the days it's going up, I did hit 200 subscribers, which I am really grateful for. Our 200 subscriber special will probably go up tomorrow on Sunday, possibly today, Saturday, if I can get it all done. But definitely Sunday will be confirmed. So double upload for tomorrow. If I get it up tomorrow, either today or tomorrow, depending on when I'm able to get it up. You'll see it on the channel there. But without further ado, let's get into this review. So the episode starts off with Midoriya parting ways with Gran Torino from the internship, and he ends up asking Gran Torino about why his name is unknown, even though he's so strong and he trained All Might and everything like that. And Gran Torino turns out that the only reason he got his hero license was for a certain goal, which I'm inferring that it has to do with One for All and Shimura and All Might. So he never really wanted to be a hero. He just needed to use his quirk freely for a certain goal, which probably had to do with like One for All for One, and stuff like that. So the last scene with Gran Torino in this episode with Midoriya it shows Midoriya walking away, and then Gran Torino calls to him and he asks him who he is. But Midoriya realizes that the way he's been asking that is not to know his name, because he knows his name by now, but he's asking to know who he is as a hero. So Midoriya says Deku, and Gran Torino smiles and waves to him, walks away. That was a really nice scene for them. But then the opening plays there. Then when they get back to school, because they show up like on the first day back from the internships, Bakugo's hair is still all gelled up from the Best Genius internship, which is actually hilarious. He said his hair got used to it, and like even no matter how rough he washes it, it'll still be really like gelled up and tucked down, which is really hilarious. And Sarah and Kirishima were like making so much fun of him for it, but his hair eventually like poofed up. But then you have everyone talking about their internships. Like Suyu talks about her internship, which we saw in last week's episode. Then everyone just goes over to Todoroki, Midoriya, and Ida, because they had the whole like hero killer thing and how Endeavor saved them. And Todoroki had to of course swallow his pride, because he was because he doesn't like the fact that he has to keep his mouth shut about what actually happened with the hero killer. Since the only people who know about what happened with the hero killer are those who were directly involved. So like the pro heroes, Midoriya, Ida, Todoroki, Gran Torino, and the police chief and Hosu. So they're really the only ones who know about that. And Todoroki has to swallow his pride, because he doesn't like saying that his dad saved him from the hero killer. But in school they have to go through this rescue training race thing that's coordinated by All Might, where he picks it's basically 4 groups of 5 people each, and they're all racing to try to get to where All Might is to quote unquote rescue him. So the first group contains Midoriya, Ida, Ashido, Ojiro, and Sarah, which are all really agile people in the class, and no one knows about Midoriya's training yet. So other than Ida and Todoroki, but Todoroki Todoroki hadn't been paying attention too much to Midoriya's movements since he was fighting the entire time, because Todoroki hadn't gotten immobilized by Stain at all. So they show everyone, everyone's making their predictions. Like Sarah's gonna make it first, Ashido's gonna make it first, Ojiro's gonna make it first, Ida's gonna make it first, but no one says Midoriya. But then Midoriya just starts surprising them all, because Sarah was in first. He was using his tape, because they were in some kind of factory-esque area. That's what the area was supposed to be. And because there's all these pipes and stuff, Sarah can just use his tape and latch onto them and keep jumping forward. But then out of nowhere, Midoriya just passed him, starts jumping from pipe to pipe, from building to building, with full cowling. And it's exactly what his training was for. But then they had a funny scene where he was so close, but he just fell off of where he was jumping, and and he ended up not getting first place. Sarah ended up passing him up again. So it it was kind of funny how he fell because he was trying to take what Gran Torino said into practice on how he needs to be calm, and he needs to be calm and alert throughout when he's using One for All, because their deal is that he has to stay at 5% with One for All. So then after the other four are in the team are going back, so that the next group can go back, All Might tells Midoriya, I couldn't believe my eyes that you're using One for All like that. And he said, after class, come and see me. I have to finally tell you about me and your mission with One for All. So there's that, but they don't show the other rescue trainings, which I kind of liked, but I liked that they didn't do that, but I didn't like that they didn't do that, because it would have been cool to see the other people going through it, but at the same time they need to have ample time for the main part of this episode, which is All Might telling Midoriya the backstory. So first, when Midoriya gets to like the teacher's lounge, All Might kind of talks to him about the hero killer incident, on how All Might's apologizing that he couldn't have been there to help and things like that. But of course Midoriya says it was fine. Plus they had Endeavor there. Endeavor's a lord, so Endeavor was able to do everything. But then All Might says that the hero killer licked your blood, right? And then he was kind of saying how if Midoriya wanted to give away One for All, the hero killer would have One for All now, which is really scary. But Midoriya, because the way One for All works is that even if you ingest DNA from someone who has it, the only way you can get it from that is if they willingly want to give it to you. So if Midoriya does not want to give away One for All, which of course he doesn't, he wants to be a hero, and he needs One for All to do so, he's not going to give it away. So All Might was kind of concerned about that at first, but then All Might starts to tell the backstory of All for One and One for All, and I really like how All Might told the story, because he was able to tie everything together so perfectly, because he talks about how when quirks were first surging in the world, there was chaos and everything, and then All for One came out of nowhere and started taking quirks from people and started ruling Japan as basically an evildoer, and then his one brother who was quirkless, or seemingly quirkless, and did not like what his brother was doing. His brother bestowed a quirk onto him which could stock up power, and it turns out that the brother was not quirkless. His quirk was that he can actually pass down his quirk, which is like the most useless quirk that you can possibly ever think of if that was the only thing it did. So those two quirks, the strength stocking and passing it down, manifested together to create One for All, and it's now intended to take down All for One. And the reason he brought up the passing quirks as well is because that is how All for One has been creating the Nomus. He's been passing the quirks down to the Nomus, and a lot of people who he had tried to pass quirks down to, basically became brainless dummies, like the Nomus are, how they only respond to Shigaraki, any of his commands. So the original One for All holder, he tried to fight All for One, but of course he lost because All for One was a lot more experienced. But then eventually, as the power stocked up in each generation, it got stronger and stronger. Once they got to All Might was the first holder of One for All to be able to defeat All for One in battle, but they could not kill each other. It was a very even fight, and as Gran Torino said in I believe it was last week's episode or the episode before. Yeah, it was the episode before, episode 31, when he said All for One is the one who punched the hole in All Might's stomach. So probably during their fight, that's when All Might got a hole punched in his stomach and had to go through all those surgeries that he had told us early in the series. So eventually it ends with All Might holding back some words from Midoriya, because Midoriya says he'll do his best because he can do anything when All Might's by his side. And when Midoriya leaves, we hear All Might's thoughts saying, "That's not it, young Midoriya. By the time that happens, I won't be able to be by your side anymore," which shows that All Might is in fact dying from his injuries. He can't. and then his use of One for All is becoming more and more limited, stuff like that. So, All Might will eventually, um, I feel like All Might will eventually die in the series, which is really sad actually. But he's not going to be able to last more as the symbol of peace in the world of My Hero Academia. But end credits roll here a bit early because there is an after credit scene before the next episode preview, and it's more so it shows two things. The first being that the next arc is going to be centered around their end of term assessment and then summer training camp, because if they fail their end of term assessment, then they have to be in summer school. But if they pass their end of term exam, they'll be in a summer training camp with their classmates. So that'll be fun for them. But then we have but then it shows All for One kind of plotting. He was like, I didn't expect the hero killer to be caught and stuff like that. And he ends the episode by saying, because he's almost fully recovered, and he said, "Celebrate while you can, All Might," because he's training up Shigaraki, and the League of Villains is getting all these new recruits from the Hero Killer Stain incident. So that's it for the episode. There was some really cool stuff in the preview. So definitely go watch the preview. The next arc for the end of term assessment, they're gonna be fighting teachers in pairs, which is gonna be really cool. So it's going to be one teacher versus two students, so that's going to be fun. But that's the end of this episode. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all next time.